Welcome to some One Piece action. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer and have not subscribed yet, please give us a subscribe. It definitely helps the channel grow. So we have some plans for Purple Black Luffy. Try to build some unique decks. Um, to my knowledge, because like I said, it's more of a memory thing, right? Like I come across the content that shows the placings and yada yada, and then at this point the meta has gotten to a point where it's like instead of a deck dominating 50% or more, it's like 25%, and then there's like a lot of other decks in the mix. So I think he is playable, but I don't know if he is the broken tiers. So, with that being said, well, I gotta start just researching before, right? Before doing some of these videos, because it's just easy. It's like when what's top tier is top tier, right? So it's like, oh, you got Blackbeard, Shanks, Dolphamingo, and call it a day. Um, but anyway, what I'm trying to articulate is that we got some plans to see if we can do some shenanigans with this leader. See if we can move this leader up. Same thing with Reiju. So I want to say in the short term, we're gonna try to get something done with these characters. This is March, if I'm correct. This is where OP09 comes out. So we're gonna get a quick meta change, but we'll try to revisit some of the older leaders that do take time to figure out. Because we have a Kiros deck that, because our focus keeps going everywhere else, we haven't been able to just finalize it. Or not finalizing is the wrong word, but get it to where we're gonna get the test plays going. We haven't gotten it out of the quote unquote alpha build. So, but that's been a deck I've been trying to go back to. It's just time and priorities. So essentially it's like what we feel more confident working, especially off rip, more so for the sake of content, because we work, so it's kind of hard to sometimes figure out our work schedules. Like now, sadly, I'm gonna be working on the weekend, Saturday, so I really have to figure out how to manage content creation and stuff like that. So yeah, life is just slows things down, but everybody knows that. So yeah, that's why you haven't gotten to see like the super unseen leaders, the leaders that never even shined the moment they came out. We got builds for a lot of leaders. But we just don't have the time to get them done, reasonably, and therefore we just have to prioritize leaders or decks that are almost done. So essentially, like, let's say if it's a really difficult leader, we probably already had a build 4 boxes ago. Essentially 4 boxes and go, and it's like, okay, we could just expand on what we've already been doing, and there you go, boom, video. So that's kind of how it goes. So with Purple Black Luffy, what you're seeing here is a build that I believe we already showcased. But just in case, if you want the deck list, you could just ask for it in the comments and we'll send it. I think it's in our other video. I could be wrong, forgive me. But we tried to just do the straw hat package, like a clean straw hat package with this leader, and for us it feels effective. But yeah, like I said, we got some interesting builds in the future. I think this leader allows bad purple cards to be playable, so that's my excitement when it comes to this leader. It's like, we can use this card and that card and this card. So yeah, let's just see what we come up with, and let's see if we can come up with it in a timely fashion. This is what I feel bad about the Roscinante leader, right? When it comes to the Roscinante leader, his special situation is protecting important cards like that, but he's already down to 1 life. So he's well aware if Yeah, see, now he takes a life. If he can't keep that card on the board, he's donezo. And this right now is literally like the only card in the game that's worth his protection. So that's the sad story with Roscinante. He, for some reason, can't keep life up to get to that point. I guess maybe if they come out with some oddly busted card, right? And all you do is play nothing but defensive cards like a Nami deck, so you can get to that turn and drop that busted card, and then Roscinante can block and protect it. But essentially, the leader is just there to protect something important. But the color green and blue does not have anything important outside of 8-drop Kid. Everything else is not important enough, to be honest. It's the You want to protect the searcher? Well, that's fantastic. That's a lot of cards in hand if you can keep spamming a searcher. Problem is, searchers are extremely weak. So you're going to have like weird situations, and it's just like, is this worth losing 8 life to protect this searcher? No. Let me just let it go. It's just going to be stuff like that. Well, we can't really go for our Rush Luffy, but it's funny. I would argue that the 10-drop Luffy would have been playable. Big boy swing. So you play 10-drop Luffy, Sugar can rest it, but that doesn't mean anything. And then we do our turnover and then we attack. Not saying that that's the play to go for, but that's what's funny about that. Okay, Roscinante completely out of resources. Has no real options. Should be scooping vanilla ice cream Haagen-Dazs. There it goes. I know Sugar is another card that Roscinante would want to protect because it's continuous defense. It's a continuous defensive card, so there's that. But like, respectfully, the moment they come out with a card, blue or green, and has a strong continuous effect, then yes, then Roscinante is gonna have a reason to just exist. He's also a 4-life leader. Like, one can argue he could have been a 5-life leader thanks to his ability. But I get the rule of thumb when it comes to 4-life leaders. Could he have been a leader that can't attack but block, just so he can have the 5-life? That would have been interesting. But yeah, that's it. That's all it is. The moment they come out with a card that just lets that gives purpose to Roscinante, he'll be really relevant. But that's the only thing holding him back. You can make all the Roscinante decks you want. There's nothing at the moment, in my humble opinion, there's nothing in this game that warrants his usage. So that's what we're waiting for. Well, it's just funny in a Luffy mirror. Luffy on Luffy violence. Now, the interesting thing is, being that we're running a KO system, obviously anything comboed with black is pretty much a KO system. If this Luffy, black and yellow, gets to spam them sabos, that would make things a little complicated. I would guess the best card to deal with that situation would be our Rush Shanji. Realize we got 3 different Sanjis in our hand. That's kind of interesting. Yep. First life. What is our Don count at? 4? So we're at 6 now. No real options. I mean, we can go with the Frankie blocker. That's like the only reasonable play right now. Yeah, that's it. A little annoying. Got no real options right now. Hand full of cards though. Maybe we could be aggressive since we got a healthy amount of 2Ks and we got board removal. Outside of the whole, Sabo situation, outside of Sabo's situation, we might be able to do something. Alrighty. Discard a card. Interesting card to discard. Because I would... Oh, Moria. Okay. They're setting it up for Moria. Because I'm like, why wouldn't you want to try to play it? Get a blocker, draw a card. What? Really? Is this play worth it? I feel like this play wasn't worth it. You know, I was talking to my friend about this yellow Sabo, and I'm like, they should let it trash. I mean, you're trashing your life. Let it trash. And I wonder if they would ever come out with cards that inflict damage to yourself, so you can get your own triggers. I'd be wondering that. I'm like, what's in the future of this game? So it's like trash your life, add a card from your life to your hand, and then I'm like, what if they come out with take a damage? It's like, yeah, take a damage, and now you can activate your own triggers. You could try to use your effects to activate triggers. I felt like that'll be an interesting mechanic. Yep, got rid of that. I don't feel like that card has quality value. I think the cost is just too damn high. Like it's literally, I'm going for a game type of card in my humble opinion. You know, trashing a whole life card just for some board removal. Now I do know like why some Luffy players play it, and it's because it hits a 5. It's great in terms of those two contexts. It's great value. A 5-drop that takes out a 5-drop, and then with black you can just one Ice Age, and now you can take out a whole 10-drop. But it's just, once again, I don't know. It's hard to see value when you got to get rid of your life. Hody Jones was like the one card. Like Hody Jones, 7-drop, rush, try to go for game. But once again, that's in the boat of going for game. So who cares? What are we doing? Nah, you had your whole Sabo set up. I'm gonna assume, I don't know what's also in this Luffy player's deck. I'm gonna assume they don't have the geckos to... Wait, what's the Don count at? I don't know, thinking about it. Just noticed they clearly not at 10 Don. Well, that's actually the other factor when it comes to playing against Black Yellow Luffy, is if you could rush them down, because their best plays require a lot of Don. So they might have what they need in their hand. They just don't have the Don for it. So that's the other interesting aspect right now. We could just drop a Sanji, I would say, if we want to. Yeah, just do 1K. Sometimes dropping a 2K for a 1K difference is not bad. Of course. Do we technically have enough attacks? One of the things that I tend to forget, but obviously I remember now, is that those cards aren't going to go to Luffy's hand. So if Luffy doesn't have adequate counter power in hand, you can just probably go for game. Like right now, you can't counter out. Swing for 7, swing for 7. See, one can literally argue that swinging for 7 would get them the game. And now that 6-drop Sanji, we didn't need to play it, because that's you know how much Don that was, that we could have just 6. We could have essentially just spread it out 6 Don. So if they weren't able to counter out of a 7K, then I'm low-key thinking to myself, probably could have had some 8, 9K swings. I mean, maybe we could easily argue that the game state is not in a position where this Luffy player is going to be able to hold out. So we probably still getting game next turn. Oh, when you sacrificed your Gecko, which is pretty much the only card that's going to allow you to stay in this game. See, that's the annoying thing about Gecko. It's in this deck. It is. I mean, it is a comeback factor regardless. It is a win more factor. It is a everything factor. You know, but in this deck in particular, it can help you stall to overtake the game. So you know, stall factor. I don't know, but he can just double up on blockers, and then swing with Gecko, play another one, double up on blockers. Mind you, your leader is, you know, 9k, and then you just block 9k, and you just block. So essentially what that would provide for you is you're building 9k swingers. Play Gecko, swing for 9, play Gecko, swing for 9. Of course, your leader ability, swing for 9. It's gonna take its toll on the opponent. So that's the cheesy thing. So yeah, it's like you got your opponent has to have, talking through the eyes of a Black Yellow Luffy player, your opponent has to have the ability to swing for 9 minimum, because that's what I'm pumping my leader to. And then once they add that Dawn, if they don't have characters who are basically 9k already, start adding Dawn, start swinging, that eats up their turn. If I can defend my way out of it, i.e. block, and maybe 1k if they have that many 9k swings, next turn, play a Gecko, rinse and repeat, and swing with my Gecko and swing with lead. I swung with lead the first time, now I'm swinging with Gecko and lead. It's just taxing. And then once again, I got the 2 free blockers. Y'all know how it goes. Boom, 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 boom. So that, essentially what I'm saying is, if you don't bother discarding Gecko. And we saw that they had 2 Sables in their hand. So I don't know why you should just kept Geckos and chucked everything else. So now we're going up against a Shanks. Shanks is hyper relevant in the meta. And it's funny, all it is a minus 1,000. Minus 1,000, and this leader is super relevant. Now, you know what the curiosity is? How good is the leader ability versus the kit that the leader is using? Because you could say that the kit is really strong. But I've seen people use the chopper package with this leader. So I guess it's safe to say that the leader ability is really strong. Now, what I've noticed in the One Piece meta is the leaders that win are traditionally leaders that can use their leader ability several times in a match. So, you know, food for thought to the developers of this game, as if they're watching my videos. Which is like, hey, if you're going to make a leader ability with intentions of using once per game, well, once per match, then it gotta be worth it, buddy. Because I think that's what Kaido, I'll make the argument that that's what Kaido, started that Kaido, I should say, and started that Crocodile was kind of low-key meant to be. Like, yeah, these aren't spammable abilities. And one can argue Zeph. And one can also argue starter deck Shanks, Purple Shanks. When you gotta eat that much Dawn and your kit doesn't really help you with your Dawn count, yeah. That's, you know, the film kit, at least what came out with that leader, and just in general, I ain't gonna lie, just in general, the ramping wasn't good quality, and then there's no spam ability. It's like a leader ability that you need characters on your board. So that leader is gonna suffer forever. Probably gonna be a leader that they don't care about and just let it die. I mean, it's already dead, so leave it dead, I should say. Well, I should say, as in correcting my earlier statement, not I agree leaving it dead. But overall, if they come out with purple film cards that just help you spam cards on the board, probably say something like, oh, like a Shanks package, right? That would be perfect. So you can just leader lock everything and it'll make sense, right? Film Shanks with the film Red Hair Pirates, and they spam the board, give you 12 Dawn, and then, you know, eat up a couple of Dawn. So, and then magically starter deck Shanks would be relevant. This Shanks player got a lot of cards in their hand. Oh, right, because of that blocker. That's a good quality blocker. Use it in our Whitebeard deck. I think the rule of thumb for any leader that's 6K is, how do I keep my hand size up? That is exactly good quality right there. You just, oh, my opponent got 2 5Ks. Let's play that. Hand size stays even. That's exactly what you want when you're using a 6K leader. Like I said, I'm happy with our Yamato deck. I'm happy with our red purple Luffy deck. I'm happy with our Whitebeard deck. It's just like kind of figured out how to use 6Ks, 6K leaders. And then it was like, we did make a red green Odin deck, and it actually didn't perform bad, but it's not ready. So we just never had the time to finalize it, or I should say, get it ready for a video. Because sometimes, we show matches before we have the final version of the deck, just to like have people see what we're working with, like what direction we're going in. But that Odin deck needed some more work, but we ended up just shifting gears to other decks, so we forgot to go back to the Odin deck. Apologize to that Odin deck. My bad, homie. But yeah, just overall rule of thumb for 6K leaders is keeping your hand size up so that way you can play your defense. 6K is offense by default, but meant for defense overall is how I feel. So yeah, we made, and in our Yamato deck, like we released a video, it still performed decent. It's kind of weird. It's like, damn, this leader is considered absolute, well, I'm gonna say absolute trash, but it's definitely considered trash. And it's like, wow, we just beat this deck with this leader. Huh. The war of attrition. Oh, they just popped our Frankie. That's all we got. Yep. Ooh, yes, Frankie blocker. 2 blockers. We might be able to make a comeback. One can argue, you know what? Attack first. Attack first. And if they let the card go, then you have your event. No? Yes? Maybe so? Because right now, you probably want to have a card to discard so you can draw. And you want your defense. So you're like, damn, I don't want to get rid of the blocker. So right now, you're looking at that event to get rid of. So I would argue, attack first. He ain't listening. You gonna get rid of the Luffy? I mean, you can argue that we don't need the double summon right now. I'll be attacking Zoro. Because that's no resource. That's just complete denial of resource. Yeah, there you go. Because Shanks got 4 life and 5 cards in hand. So if they want to protect, they can protect. If they want to defend, they can defend. But Zoro, it's either lose a card or lose a card at the end of the day. Hard cast Nami. And I'm going to assume we're going to chuck the event. Oh, no, we probably don't need to search no more, right? We got rid of our draw Sanji? But that card's a battery. That card's a battery, though. That's okay. Okay, cool, cool. We got some search cards, and essentially we can try to fish for something. Oh, and they're playing their blockers. That's pretty much. Oh my god, this is exactly what we want. They had no idea. They had no idea. That's exactly what we want. Okay, 1K out of that, and I'll just obviously block. I think it's yup. Oh, another Frankie blocker. But that's that. There's a lot of Dawn at the end of the day. And then you got to bottom deck the Lucky Roo. They have a lot of cards in hand. They got 2 life. We got a blocker. It is scary, but essentially, they might not have any plays that can. Okay, we're keeping Dawn up. We're gonna play the Frankie. I see, which is smart. So yeah, they're in a position where they have to play this defense. Okay, at least we got a 2K. We traded a 1K for a 2K. So that's a way to look at it. I don't know why we played the Frankie and then continued attacking. And they are defending their life. Now, essentially, if they feel like the cards in hand are cards they don't need, then this is viable. That's insane. This turnaround. That's the power of blockers, too. They help you just last longer. They keep your board safer. And then next thing you know, just swing. Now, we can't protect that, so let it go. I mean, we have enough attacks next turn, so we're going to be good. Just take. That's free. They were better off going for your board. They did the wrong thing right there. Oh, G. Thanks for watching.